Do y'all think that most men, just kind of going into an icebreaker, do y'all think that most men are lonely, whether they're in a relationship or not? Because as we indicated in the report, and I'll present it again if you guys want me to. But as indicated in the report, they're saying that there's a lot of men that are basically operating out of loneliness, and they don't really talk about it, and that is becoming an epidemic, basically. How do y'all feel about that?
Maybe that's
I can't relate.
well.
Like
Looking
I
at
got,
the
just, I got friends. I got things I can do that keep me busy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and plus, I'm sometimes I could be a loner myself. So, but I'm not lonely. But like, I don't know. I guess I just don't. I don't really grasp the sentiment. I guess like I don't understand. Like I don't understand. Like I mean, most people like at times you want to be alone anyway. So
Well,
maybe
let me play this video really quickly, just a little bit of it, just to give people back a sentiment of what we was talking about.
okay.
And this is the video that they were talking about as far as the male loneliness and how guys are basically dealing with male loneliness. All right, so this is kind of what they were talking
A
about.
whole lot more testosterone than the other half of the world.
Can y'all hear that?
We should enjoy it.
Yeah.
This is Everyman, a guys only weekend getaway in the Berkshires of Massachusetts.
how you doing? Good to see you.
No drinking, no drugs, no phones. Roughly 50 men placing a premium on authenticity, opening up about struggles men often bury, like loneliness.
We can just be raw and real with each other.
We met Brad from Idaho. John's from Connecticut. Dan lives in Maine. Have any of you struggled with loneliness?
Yeah, I would say I'm struggling with it right now.
And what does that loneliness feel like to you?
Maybe fragility or insecurity.
Does it hit you a lot?
It's low level consistent.
Loneliness is a poverty of the spirit. What about you? Loneliness an issue?
I don't resonate with loneliness as much as I do my need for belonging.
Absolutely. I have experienced loneliness in the past.
If you weren't working at it, would loneliness come back to bite you?
I would be back where I was 2 years ago, which is when I'm home, I'm not present.
A lot of these guys, again, they are. Some of them are in relationships, some of them not. But again, this is it's almost painting this picture as though there's an epidemic of loneliness. What do y'all think about that?
What is it? I don't understand. Like, what does it look like for a man to be lonely and he's at home? Like I hear women say it all the time. Like I'm married, but I feel like I'm single type shit. But like I don't really. What does that look like?
I think it's just not having somebody that they can confide in, they can vent to, because it's one thing to have, I guess be married or be in a relationship, but a lot of people are not friends. A lot of people do not know how to communicate with their partners, or because that's what they call them, their partners and their spouses. So you can be lonely in a relationship, but I think as it pertains to men, I think a lot of men are lonely because they don't they don't have anybody they can be expressive with. And then a lot of men too, I find that a lot of men don't want to talk, even when you ask them.
Do y'all think that here, let me do this. Have y'all ever experienced loneliness, Quentin and Slimmy?
I could say yeah. Back when I first moved from Houston, like to Oklahoma, I didn't really like. I had to get like acclimated with all my peeps and hey, I'm back type of shit. I just remember like I used to get off like at 1:30 in the morning and go to my little cracker box apartment. And I'm like, this shit fucking lonely as hell. It's just like a little box, like yeah. But I remedied that situation. Stat.
Do y'all have a preference of what? All right, let me before I get to that, Slimmy. What about you? Have you ever experienced loneliness?
I think it was like I think it was just me playing games in my mind more than anything. I always got family around, and I never felt like they forsaken me or nothing like that. But I don't know, man. I just never felt like alone. Like I just never felt like that. No, like no, I might go through some shit. I might have gone through some things, and I had to talk to somebody about it, and once I vented, I was cool. Like, so it's just like I try not, see, the thing is about me, I try to live stress free. So I ain't gonna let things cause stress can kill you. So these dudes, they stressing this lonely shit, man. I don't know, man. Maybe they need to pick up a video game or a sport or a hobby, do something, man. Like, I wouldn't stress over,
I
like,
think just like listening to you and listening to me, we probably take it for granted the access that we have to other people. Because, dude, I got like 6 cousins, my brother, a stepbrother, and they all a phone call away. I got 3 uncles, and they all answer the phone when Quentin calls. So everybody's a phone call away for me.
Personally, go ahead, Slimmy. Go ahead, Slimmy.
Maybe Quentin is right. Maybe I do take that for granted because, but I'm also the same way. I'm very receptive. Somebody could call me I ain't talked to in 20 years, and I don't care about how long it's been. I'm trying to make sure you straight. You know what I'm saying? I'm chopping it up like we never took a break or nothing like that. I don't care about stuff like that, man. Like, I'm literally there for people when they call me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm open. I don't think everybody is like that, and that kind of closed doors on them. So when you're not open to being a true friend, I think you might miss out on that, and that might lead to loneliness. That could lead to it.
I don't know if I've ever felt lonely personally. Like, I could be by myself, but that don't necessarily mean that I'm lonely. Like, I like all of the different versions of me. Like, I like being with a whole lot of people, and then I like being by myself, and I like being, just hanging out one on one, and I like, you know what I'm saying? I like creating by myself and riding in my headphones. I like riding alone. I like riding with people. So I don't know. I think that Quentin might have a little bit of a point in that we might take for granted the amount of people that we have access to, and maybe that is one of the things that feed into it. Like, the fact that I can go and be with other people, I have the option to meet. Maybe that is the thing that feeds into the fact that I don't ever, or I've never felt lonely or anything. Like, I've never experienced that, because again, choosing to be by myself at certain times is much different than being forced to be by yourself. So I try not to, I'm trying to consider what other guys go through, but maybe we do. Maybe we do take for granted the fact that we do have access to be able to do what we want to do when we want to do it.
Because it's all between your ears. You know what I mean? Like being in jail, like there's someone taking your freedom away. Like, it's all between your ears. You know what I mean? Okay, that's probably kind of hyperbolic.
You have to also realize too that I think it affects people in different ways. Like, I was actually going to send you this story. There was a 14-year-old boy that unalived himself, and he was lonely, and he felt like some type of some type of bot. I guess they have these bots that can talk to you like they're human beings, and he got into a relationship with one, and he wanted to, yeah, he wanted to be with the bot. So, well, it's one of those bots that, like, it's very human. It's made for that. And he wanted to be with the bot so bad. He asked it a question. He was like, well, I want to be where you are. Can I come? And they were like, yeah. And it didn't realize that it was telling them to kill itself.
Yeah,
And so the mom is now suing the company because the company didn't have a mechanism that recognizes when someone is.
that's
No, I'm just telling you the story.
no. I understand what you're saying. I'm reacting
But
to the story that you're telling me and say, I hate when people do that.
You freaking idiot. Sorry.
I
yeah,
hate when
but
people
he
sue
was
the
he was
company. Get out of
lonely.
here.
But he was lonely, and a lot of these children in this day and age, ever since, and especially since COVID, are lonely.
That's how me and Carrie gonna be when we get our Tesla robots. We popping. We popping.
So
know,
I'm looking
it's
at both
kind of,
sides, right? Because that can actually help somebody that may be lonely, but then you have to also watch it too,
but
right?
it's so weird in
Yeah.
2024 when the whole world is at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Like you can you can mass text 80 people. Somebody gonna say something back. You know what I mean?
But okay, let me
Yeah.
ask you another question. Sorry, go ahead, Carrie.
No, I was just gonna say there's all different types of circumstances though. And you also are assuming that the person is the type of person to reach out to people, to communicate, to vent, to ask for help. If you're not that type of person, especially if you've been far removed for a while, it may not be so easy in your head. So I agree with that part that you said. It may not be so easy in your head to reach out. I know for me, moving away from Jersey was a big thing over time when I started to realize that the bulk of who I was talking to were kids. The bulk of the information that I was around was kid-like information. I started to see that not only was I getting lonely, I was also pulling myself further away. And then I realized that as an adult, making friends, the act of going out and interacting is way different than when you were back in high school and you're naturally around people. So you're going to interact, you're going to make friends. Like when you're an adult and you move to a new place, if you're not intentional about going to meet people, following up on meeting people, you're probably not going to make any friends. So,
I like I don't want to make new friends. Like when I go out, let's say I go out and I hang out, because I can go out by myself all the time. I always go out by myself and just like, go to somewhere I've never been before or anything like that. Even if I'm in a different city, I could meet people for the night and have a good time and walk away and never see you again and be cool.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't, and then maybe it's a guy thing or maybe it's just an Anton thing, because I don't have to stay in touch. Whereas, like, for example, Rita, she likes, interacting and the familiarity of her homegirls or whatever like that. She prefers that, I think. For me, I can hang out with you for the night and be like, man, we had a good time. And if I see you again, that's dope. And then I could just move on. I don't have to relive the moment. We don't have to go and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's over for me.
It all falls under like the mental health umbrella. Like if your mind's right, like this, you don't feel that.
that's not true.
Okay, thanks.
Well, I disagree. Let me say that. I disagree
Well,
with that.
a feeling of loneliness is your mental health. It's between what you're feeling is between your ears, right?
No, well, no, I don't think so. I think there's overlay. I think that you can genuinely start to feel lonely because you feel like you don't have any connection to anyone, or you don't feel like you can talk to someone or what have you. And then you can make a decision. You can decide, okay, what can I do to change it? So you're not like stuck in your loneliness, or you can get further into it. And then to me, then it starts to run the risk of going into some other spaces, mental health wise, what have you.
It's a lot of factors. I think it could be the way that you raised. It could be whether you got brothers and sisters. It could be if you was raised in a big city, small city. This is a huge topic, I think. So I do appreciate everybody giving a insight and input, but it's a very, very, very big topic. And it's so many factors that go into it. Whether you male or female, you inherently more of a nurturing spirit versus a builder. if you generally tend to be a builder, you have less time to think about different things because you're so busy all the time versus a person that's more of nurturing. You know, they tend to go through things where if a person grows up, for example, or a kid grows up, they go through a season of, I've seen people go through a season of, well, what am I going to do now? Because all of my life was based around this kid or something like that. Yo, so I think it's a lot of factors that go into it. This is why I'm a little bit more, I have a little bit more empathy when I'm talking to people when they say stuff about this subject because it could be so deep and it could go so far into it. It's just, it's interesting to hear that there's a lot of guys looking for groups and connecting with each other and trying to find friendship. I'm not that type of person. I'm not.
But
I used to think it was gay.
don't men like camaraderie? They like
A lot of men do.
competition. They like things like that. Like I noticed that in schooling, right, that the boys that were in Montessori's, right, they did much better because they were able to, just be boys, move around. They were able to, they weren't sitting down in the classroom, being, not able to use their testosterone to help with their education. But the boys that are in like regular school and have to sit there, like, like
I don't
girls.
know because like even me, like, the camaraderie and stuff, I think that that's dope. I think that that's awesome. But like even today, but really, I mean, even back in school, high school, all of that, like I was just the type of kid that was on some I was always about like, okay, so all right, yeah,
Right,
we all
sports
going
is
out. But no,
camaraderie.
like let's just
Mhm.
say, for example, y'all going out and y'all going to hang and stuff. And the question was always like, well, where the hoes at? Like, like if everybody, no, listen, don't discount my experience. I'm not discounting nobody else's. Cause, like, for example, let's say you invite a bunch of guys over or something like that, and it's like, all right, so is some girls coming? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would rather hang with 2 or 3 women around me on my arm or something like that than hang with 2 or 3 guys. And I don't think it's anything wrong with guys hanging with guys because that is a normal thing. I just like something that smell good and soft around me. You know what I'm saying? And it don't even mean that you even got to do nothing with them. That's not what it is. It's just like, where are women at? Like, is the women coming or no? So I don't know. I think it's different strokes for different folks. So
Carrie, you missed it last night.
It's like I even think about like when I get off of work, and
Fatty, I'm
like,
about to bring you up. Go
and
ahead.
I'm like, what am I gonna? I'm like, what am I gonna do? And I can't keep my mind occupied playing a video game. And it's not even the fact of playing a video game. It's like it's me battling against this, like in my mind, like I'm smarter than you, like keeping my mind occupied elsewhere. Like, and that's why I say it's 100% mental health. Because if you got what's between your ears is correct, like that loneliness doesn't set in.
I think the issue with some of those dudes that was
look at them, they're all white, they're in
no,
middle age.
What it sounded like is those dudes didn't sound very comfortable with themselves.
Yeah, some of them was married too.
Yeah, they didn't sound very comfortable with themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like when Anton said something like, I'm good being by myself. I'm good riding. Like I feel the exact same way. I'm good. Like, when I'm in my element, when I'm in another element, I'm very comfortable with myself. Those men did not sound comfortable with themselves. They did not. They sounded like they had some underlying issues. That one dude said, I don't. The one dude really struck me. He said, I don't have an issue with loneliness. I have an issue with the sense of belonging. I'm like, dude, like, why you got an issue?
Say that.
Why you got an issue with the sense of belonging? Fuck everybody else. Do you? What you worried about anybody else for?
But humans are social beings, though.
1000%.
Okay.
That is true too.
We are, but it's also like you still gotta do you regardless of who's around you, no matter what.
Well,
you
talking.
You gonna die alone.
I think that you talking from a sense of confidence, though, Slimmy, because you've grown up without having to worry about what other people think. I'm the type of person that can walk down the street with a camera in front of my face and don't see nobody. I don't give a fuck about what nobody talking about. You know what I'm saying? I can stand in the middle of the crowd and think that I'm the only person there because that's the type of confidence that I have. I think that a lot of people also grew up, especially like in high school and grade school and stuff, wanting to be a part of the in crowd, wanting to be, you know what I'm saying? Wanting to have a sense of belonging, looking for that validation. And then you factor in what was probably going on at home, or maybe their parents was never there or something. So it's just, I think it's a lot of factors that may go into it.
Yeah, maybe I'm taking that shit for granted then.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think you're taking it for granted. I just think that we all got different experiences.
It's foreign. It's like if you don't live it, it's kind of foreign to you. And you can't really, you know what I mean? Like in your mind, make sense of it. I get it.
What up,
Hello,
Fatty? What's the word?
the fat one.
How are you doing, friends? I hope you guys are doing good.
Hello,
Glad you guys.
just slow motion.
This is God telling you to go back on StreamYard, Anton. That app you use, I don't understand. What's going on.
I ain't worried about that. We good.
I don't get it.
I don't like StreamYard, but I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, like the thing that you were saying. Remember on Fight Club when I asked you if this woman were fat, would you enjoy being around them? And you said no.
No. I don't mind being around all women.
They have to look good.
No, that's not true.
We're talking about men's mental health and being lonely, not fat bitches.
I'm not trying to bust them down. I mean, I don't think it matters. Honestly, I just like being around people. As far as just like socializing and going out, I can stop and kick it with anybody. It don't really matter what you look like on that type of time.
No, I know that, but like when a man says, "I like female energy. I like to have women around." If I put 200 pounds on those women, they will change their mind extremely quickly. It's not about the woman.
True. That's not true.
So you think that men that prefer to hang around with women over men would still prefer them if they actually look terrible?
Yes. For me, not men in general. For me.
We get here.
No, for me, seriously.
It's fair assessment that say that we have more fun with our male friends when it comes to they're smarter, they're not far. Sorry, my bad. 4 a.m. They are funnier. Like do we have shit in common and all that, right? I don't see the benefit of hanging around with women if they are not attractive. And I agree with you. We might not even.
I have more fun around my brothers, for example, because I got 3 brothers, right? So I have more fun around my brothers when we all joking. But usually when we all joking, we having fun, and even if it's just us by ourselves, it'll start to be women that'll come around and they'll just start joining in and, you know what I'm saying, being a part of it. So we not usually there alone for long. But we get each other, you know what I'm saying? We grew up with each other. We usually be joking about stuff that we didn't seen and relating it back and certain stuff. I have a preference for women. I just like, here, I'll put it to you like this. Let me explain it like this. If you stick around,
shit.
If you hang around, I'm gonna be real, because I mean,
talk.
Nope, I ain't talking about that. If you stick around a woman, even if she may not be ideal for you, let's frame it like that. If you stick around a woman long enough, you'll start to overlook some stuff that you otherwise may not have overlooked if you was just meeting her for the first time.
Like that fupa starting to look a little flat.
If you stick around a woman long enough, honest to God, and that is the truth, and I don't know if guys have experienced this before. If you stick around women long enough, you will start to like things about her, or you'll notice things about her that you otherwise wouldn't have noticed about her if you had to just looked at her objectively and was just like, do I like you? And I popped the balloon. Boop.